Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Will Rogers Downs here on Wednesday. It's the 5th of April 2023. Gonna look at the sixth race from Will Rogers, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections for race courses around the world. The sixth race from Will Rogers, it's a handicap going for a $24,000 purse, race for 3-year-olds here, 3-year-olds and upwards. Field of 5 horses taking a stroll around the Will Rogers main track, which is 1,600 meters in circumference, with a mile trip on the Will Rogers main track. 1,600 meters, 1 mile here. And I show the diagram, just gives me a second to look down my notes, just bear with me. Sorry, I'm stupid. I can't do two things at the same time. My top selection, I'm going to go with the number 4 horse here, Royally. I'm going to go 4-2-3 in your trifecta. 4-2-3 trifecta, top selection of 4 horse, Royally. The 6-year-old gelded by Dremedy. Mark Breuer trains one, gets Triana up in the saddle. The horse's most recent outing came 13th of March here at Will Rogers. 1 mile in the handicap there, and he finished second by 3/4 length. He was with Amar dueling early on. He needed that extra turn of foot. He just was a little bit flat. You know, he improved off the race before, but he needed the race there to get back locally. Second off the bench, back to a handicap with a good weight. I think he could really improve off of that 76 Byron and run a good race here today. 2 back in optional 10 Sam Houston, 1 mile 10th of February. He finished 6 by 9 lengths that day, and he just never really got going, a little bit wide, and it was just a little bit flat. It wasn't his day to win. And then at Remington in late December, 1 mile in optional 10, he finished 8th by 13.5 lengths. Against some tough horses, he was with them early on, but just completely crumbled. Before that, in late November at Remington, 1 mile 70 in optional 10, he won by a neck, and basically they took him to the front end. He walked the dog that day, Frank Weathy Jr., and he went away with a very, very good race, coming home with a 73 buyer. And then prior to that, Remington, 1 mile in optional 10, he finished 4th by 6.5 lengths that day, and he completely hit the wall. He had, in a matter of like 4 weeks, he had 4 races, so he was running quite a bit during the fall at Remington. Since the Sam Houston race, he's had about a race every 5 weeks, which I think is not bad for this one. He's back to Will Rogers, where he hasn't won yet, but he's always run these bang-on races. I think he's due for a victory locally. I'm going to give him a shot here at 4-1. I think his second likeliest winner here is a 2-horse Policy for Scott Young and Frank Weathy Jr. Most recently in the Jayhawk Memorial at Remington over the mile 70. Against tougher horses, he finished 5th by 6.25 lengths. He was very wide and just never really got going. The race before then, the allowance race at Remington, he never really got going. He hasn't won since 14th of September. 1 mile in allowance race there, non-3X. Won by a half length, coming up from mid-pack. I thought it was a very good race, earning an 83 buyer. And then before that, claim 25 at Remington, he won by a half length, again coming up from nowhere, coming home with another 83 buyer. Very, very good run. He's making his debut locally. He's training well at Sam Houston. I'll give him a shot at even money on the ticket also. I believe there's a pick 4 that begins with the previous race, so I think you want to go a little bit deep in this one. Too deep. So to recap my selection for the 6 from Will Rogers, let's take the 4-horse Royally. Give kudos to the 2-horse Policy. 4-2-3, TriCast, Trifecta. 4-2 in your multi-race. So good luck to all. Please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5. Good luck, everybody.